What's up, Bucko Nation? Welcome to the Pirates Live 412 Cone Hoisters Weekly Show, the trade deadline special edition. I'm Mason Spesky, your host. Tonight we will be discussing what the Pirates did at the deadline. 3 big moves, acquiring Luke Weaver, which was the granddaddy of them all. Other than Mason Miller, which I don't, now that I think about it more, I don't believe that Mason Miller really was on the market. It's just people saying stuff. Because you know how people say stuff these days. It's 2026. We all know this. Other than Mason Miller, Luke Weaver was the number one reliever on the market. The Buccos got him. Kirby Yates. And this guy named Lee. Why do I always keep forgetting about this guy? Like, I know we acquired him. I know we acquired him, but I forget his name. Lake Bachar is joining the Pirates as well today. So those are your free pieces we had at the deadline. We did not give up as much as I thought we would. I think we overpaid on the Bachar trade. We did great with the Yates trade. And we did phenomenal, thank God, with the Lever trade. I didn't realize that Sammy Stafara was a diehard Mets fan. Super happy for him. Super happy for Luke Weaver. Super happy for everybody involved here. As I've mentioned on this show several times, Stafara was effectively blocked from getting much time in the majors in Pittsburgh. And here's why. Obviously, Connor Griffin is our everyday shortstop. He's just signed for 9 years. So he's going to be here a little while. And Sanford is ranked higher than him. So that's 3 shortstops you have potentially that are really good. You don't have room for all of them. So you have to trade one of them. And it was great that he gets to go where he wants to go. Alrighty, let's look at the big trades. We're going to go all the way back like 10 days. We're going to look at every trade and we're going to discuss it. I will talk briefly about the other teams' trades. I will do a recap of winners and losers at the very end. We'll do that. And then we will talk some more about who truly won the deadline, who truly lost it, and how the Pirates did compared to other teams, and what this means for the rest of the year and the coming years. So without further ado, here we go. San Diego acquired Casey Mize and Gage Workman from the Tigers in exchange for Cass Mayfield and Jackson Wolf. This is a very bad trade for Detroit. This is a very, very bad trade for Detroit. Actually, you know what? Here, I'm going to grab from the printer. I had to post it out. I actually want to grab from the printer. The printer's out, unfortunately. So we have to go in and get more paper. That was kind of cringeworthy that I said that, but oh well. Hang on, let me get... Pirates won, by the way, tonight, 4-3. The post-game show is coming up soon. While I was watching the game, I had the TV on in the back. This is actually a really funny story. So, I have the game on my iPad because I have YouTube TV, and the game isn't on TV. It will be Wednesday, though, which is nice. But anyway, I have the game on my iPad. In the TV, there's 4 screens. Like, YouTube TV gives you the option. Hang on, let me fix this printer. YouTube TV gives you the option to have 4 MLB games on, or 4 channels on at once. And whether you love them or hate them, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that love them and a lot of people that hate them, one of the channels on in the background was Fox News. This past Saturday, I have to do the thing with the printer again, I'm sorry. But anyway, this past Saturday, if you knew or didn't know, was National Girlfriend Day. So on Fox News, Jesse Waters, one of the hosts, sent somebody to the beach to interview people, couples, and just girls. And at the very end, this guy-girl couple, when the guy doing the reporting said, "What do you have to say to your girlfriend on national TV?" and then they noticed it was Fox News. He literally picked her up. We're going to actually, hang on. You know what? We're going to use Eric Cartman. We're going to use this Cartman. Took her, like, say this is the guy's girlfriend, Cartman. Sitting right here. Took her, grabbed her, ran her to the ocean, and, like, just got away from them. And the reason I bring it up is this. As soon as that happened, I literally just laughed and screamed out of nowhere, "Let's go Bucks." Because the mood with this team is one thing. It's been one thing this year. It's been hot and cold. And today was certainly hot, considering we beat the Brewers as well. 4-3. Let's go Bucks. Raise it. We're back to 500. But anyway, this team runs hot and cold. And the reason this team runs hot and cold, and it hasn't ran more hot this year, is because of the relief pitching, which we got today. And that makes Pirate fans, so, including myself, so happy. Like, we're just happy we got relievers. But anyway, back to the trade deadline talk. I just figured out what you would want to hear that. Casey Mize trade. For this trade here, I would give the Padres... Why isn't his pen writing? Oh, gosh. God bless it. We're way behind, but oh well. It's Monday night, too. Why? Oh, gosh, I'm almost out of pens as well. Anyway, we're just going to have to use what we have. This one here. For the Casey Mize trade. This one works, thank God. For the Mize trade. I'd give San Diego an A-. I'd give Detroit a C. I don't think this trade's going to help Detroit much. I think they just did it to get it done. So, yeah. Brewers get an arm in Antonio Senazella from the Rockies. This is somebody I really wanted to get a lot. I'm very disappointed we didn't get him. And he did go to a division rival, so that's really disappointing. I'm going to give the Brewers an A+ on this one because I think they got somebody real freaking good. For the Rockies, I don't really know much of these guys. I'm going to give it a B-. Cardinals traded Lars Nootbaar to the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for right-handed pitcher Daniel Egan, lefty Sandro Santana, and a player to be named later. Nootbaar is very good. But it feels like they gave up a lot for him. I'm going to give it a C+ on Arizona's end. It's a good player, but I think they gave up a lot. Cardinals get the number 8 prospect from Arizona. That's definitely a good starter. According to ESPN, number 5 on MLB.com. So, I'd give this an A- for St. Louis. This was a rather interesting trade. The Guardians acquire Foster Griffin from the now slumping Washington Nationals, who are now 55 and 59. I didn't think they were making the right decision at first to sell, but now I kind of think they do. They're probably still 2 years away, put it at that. They have a bright future, but it's just not this year. So I think trading Griffin was a wise move for them. I would give it an A. I think Griffin's had a great year. I would give it an A. The Nationals' return is interesting. They're getting back left-handed pitcher Josh Hartle, left-handed pitcher Will Dion, righty Ken Douglas Vargas, and Nick Mitchell, an outfielder. Get as much as they should have. I would give it a B-. It's not a bad package, but I'd give it a B-. Nathaniel Lau is also headed to the Cleveland Guardians. He is being traded from the Reds to the Guardians in exchange for Alejandro Rivera. Give them an A. Nathaniel Lau's had a good year. I would give Cleveland an A. Again, they're doing really good here. And Reds... I could give him a C. I don't think this is that great. Jeff Hoffman is going to the Minnesota Twins from the Toronto Blue Jays. This is somebody I would have loved to have as well as Mize, Senatella, and Griffin. Those were all guys I think we should have been after more so. Disappointing that we're not, but I think we had a good deadline all in all. Hoffman was somebody I would have liked to get for sure. Instead, he will be playing for former Pirate manager Derek Selton in Minnesota. Twins get back lefty Deshaun Hill, righty John Klein, and infielder Damari Pena. I'd give the Twins an A-. I think Hoffman's a solid reliever, and he'll help them a fair amount. Blue Jays, I think that these are solid prospects. I'd say that we're going to get the same grade. This is a very even trade. I don't think anybody won this one. I'd give it an A-. Tyler Wells is headed from the Baltimore Orioles to the Tampa Bay Rays in exchange for Michael Forrest. For Tampa, it says his conversion on ESPN. It says his conversion to relief work has gone well. I think it's good. I'll give him an A-. And for Baltimore, give it a B. Looks good. Marcel Meyer is leaving the Red Sox to go out to San Francisco in exchange for Eric Miller. I would give this does not look like a good trade. ESPN has it at a D. I would also give it a D. Giants, I like Meyer a lot, and I like what he has. I'm giving it an A-. This was a great trade for them. Yankees get Heliot Ramos from the Giants in exchange for pitcher Henry Lane and Caden Kent. Ramos is hitting his prime. I think this could be good. I will give it a B. And for the Giants, they got the Yankees' number 8 prospect. It's a really good trade. I'd say, again, this is an even trade. Both teams made out just as good. I'd give it a B. This is an interesting trade here. This is somebody who I would have liked to have in this next one. Dalton Varsho is leaving the Toronto Blue Jays for Eatstown Houston Astros in exchange for pitcher Spencer Arrighetti. I think both sides did good here. I think Houston won the trade, though. I'm going to give Houston an A because I think they did really good, and he's done well. And I will give the Blue Jays a B-. He could be good. Cubs get a lot of help, adding Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor from the Mets in exchange for infield prospect Jefferson Rojas. Rojas, I believe, is now going to be the Mets' top prospect. I'd give the Cubs a C. I really don't like this trade much. I know they want to start pitching and somebody like that, but I don't think this is a trade you want to make. Didn't they learn their lesson from what they did with the Mets 5 years ago? Baez and Trevor Williams in exchange for Peter Armstrong? Jefferson Rojas was the Cubs' top prospect by ESPN. I'd give it an A+ for the Mets. This was a steal. This was a great trade for the New York Mets. Alrighty, next trade now. The Brewers acquiring Dustin May and Jojo Romero from the Cardinals in exchange for Alexander Frias, outfield prospect, and Jose Ragsdale. I don't know much about these guys, or really, I don't know much about prospects outside of the Pirates organization. Who the freak did the pen go? Okay, this is not good at all. Oh, there it is, right there. But I do know that May was solid and Romero was solid, but if these are top prospects, that's a lot to give up. So I'm going to give Milwaukee a C+. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. That's what I think they did here. Because I don't think May is electric, but I don't think he's bad either. And for the Cardinals, I'd give them an A. ESPN has them at an A. These prospects seem good, and everyone's saying how good the Cardinals are doing. I would give him an A. He's doing good. Cubs get an arm in the bullpen and Ryan Zefferjon. They had a big trade deadline. They're going all in to catch Milwaukee, or maybe not catch Milwaukee, but make noise in the playoffs. Ryan Zefferjon to the Cubs in exchange for catcher Moises Ballesteros and right-handed pitcher Mason McGuire. I'm going to give the Cubs a C on this one. I think that Zefferjon is good, but I just don't know how good he'll be in Chicago, though. ESPN has them at a B-. I'm giving the Angels an A. I like this return a lot, and I think they're very lucky with what they're getting. So, that's big. Braxton Garrett is also headed to the Chicago Cubs from the Marlins in exchange for Jonathan Long and Jace Beck. I think that the Cubs overpaid here again. I'm going to give them a C. They overpaid for a lot of these guys. I mean, yeah. Long and Beck, I'll probably give Miami a C as well, because it's not like they did anything special. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to give them a C. Again, an even trade, but unnecessary one. This is the big one we're going to talk about tonight. And it's the Luke Weaver trade. Our Pirates traded for Luke Weaver from the New York Mets in exchange for shortstop Sammy Staforo. We've talked a lot about both these guys on the podcast. I thought we were going to get Weaver. I really wanted Weaver. This is a great fit for sure. Ben Cherington did a great job with this trade. And to only give up Staforo to get him, I would have probably given up a lot more than Cherington did. So credit to Ben Cherington for only giving up Sammy Staforo. I would have probably done Easton Carmichael and Staforo and somebody else. So great job by Cherington. This is getting an A+. This is the best trade of the deadline, I think, so far out of the ones I've read for anybody. A+ for Ben Cherington. He did great. And the Mets, I'd give them a B. ESPN has them at a C. I'd give him a B because I think Staforo can make noise and he could be good. Thankful to him for the hot bat he's had recently, but I think it's a B. I think it's a good trade, and yeah, great trade. Both sides benefited. This was the blockbuster of the day. The Red Sox acquired catcher Adley Rutzman as well as catcher Jake Rogers and casts from the Orioles in exchange for Anthony Ianson, Kyson Witherspoon, sorry about the burping, Andy Azokar, and Carlos Navarez. For the Red Sox, I would give them a D+. I mean, I don't think... Rutzman obviously is hurt a lot, and they have catchers, so it's not like they needed to make this trade at all. So that's why I'm giving them a D+, because it's not like they needed him, and they gave up an awfully lot to get him. And he's on the IL. He's been on the IL a lot, so that's what I'm giving him. For Baltimore, ESPN's giving them an A. I'm going to give him a B+, just because I'm not familiar with the prospects and don't know a whole lot. I'm going to give him a B+. Obviously, he's hurt, and Sam Basayo is going to take over the regular catching duties, so, yeah. Oh, they got a ton of... Actually, I'm going to change this to an A. I'm going to change this to an A because Baltimore got a ton of top prospects. A lot of top prospects. I will give it an A. But things haven't been good in Baltimore. For sure. Dodgers keep adding to their pitching staff, adding Chris Bubic from the Royals in exchange for right-handed pitcher Carlos Duran. I'm going to give the Dodgers an A because it's a good addition, and he could really help their pen in the postseason. So I'll give it an A for them. And the Royals, I'll give a D. Because obviously it says about how Duran's been allowed in their system at all, so I'd give it a D. That's a big win for LA, if they haven't had enough. Robbie Ray was traded from the Padres to the Giants. Or no, the Giants to the Padres. I'm sorry, my bad. San Diego gets Ray. San Francisco gets right-hander Miguel Mendez. And Joniel Hernandez. I'm going to give this a D for San Diego. San Diego is probably not going to make the playoffs. And they just acquired a pending free agent. Make it make sense. Yeah. All he does is buy Preller. So yeah. And the Giants get their 7 and 11 prospects. Like AJ Preller just trades away prospects for fun. He treats them like bags of chips, not gonna lie. I'm gonna give the Giants an A. Buster Posey had a hell of a deadline. I will say that. Hell of a deadline. Rays acquire Liam Hicks from the Marlins in exchange for infielder Braden Taylor, infielder Adrian Santana, and right-handed pitcher Jacob Kisting. I'm going to give the Rays an A for this. This is a bold move, and it's a good move for Tampa. Good for them. Miami, I don't know what you're doing. Kind of want to give this an F. I kind of want to give this an F. So, I mean, it seems Joe Mack's coming along, but, I mean, Hicks has been a good player for you guys, and you're in the playoff chase, so why do this? I'm giving an F for Miami. White Sox get Brent Doyle from the Rockies in exchange for right-hander Mason Adams and shortstop Carlos Vielma. I'm going to give the White Sox a B. I think I like this trade a lot for them. I think Doyle could be a very good outfielder there, and it helps them out. So that's a good win for the White Sox. For the Rockies, I will give it a B-. Oh, he is in their top 10 system. I'll actually upgrade that to a B. It's a pretty even trade at this point. Guardians acquire Joe Adele from the Angels in exchange for Jacob Cozart. This is somebody I would have liked to see the Pirates get. Unfortunately, they did not get him. He is going instead to the Cleveland Guardians. I would give this an A for the Guardians. I think Adele is a good player. He has the very much potential to break out. And he's great on defense, so this is a great trade for Cleveland. For the Angels, I would probably give it a B. And they get a good young catching prospect as well. So this trade was even for both sides. Taylor Ward is going from Baltimore to Seattle in exchange for right-hander Alex Hoppe, right-hander Harrison Krelling, and right-handed pitcher Brock Moore. I would give this a C+ for Seattle. I think Seattle overpaid to get him, so I'm giving it a C+ for them. For Baltimore, I'd give it an A-, or they're giving it I was going to give it an A-, but they're giving it a D+. I guess we're going to give it a C+ as well. I'd say this trade's pretty even for both sides. Phillies acquire Brooks Raley from the Mets in exchange for right-hander Luke Gabris and outfielder John Spikerman. For the Phillies, I'd give this grade a C+. I think Raley's good, but I think they overpaid for him. I don't think this trade makes much sense for the Phillies. And for the Mets, ESPN's giving it a C+. I guess I will give it a C. I think they could have done a little better for him. Maybe a top 10 prospect. So I'm going to give it a C. Braves get a bullpen arm in Brent Suter, somebody I would have probably liked to acquire. They get him from the Angels in exchange for infielder Nacho Alvarez Jr. Suter, I would give this an A- for Atlanta. I think Suter could be very good, so I'm giving it an A-. And Nacho, I will give a ESPN has it a B plus. Or a B minus. I'm actually going to go a step up. I'm going to give it a B plus. I think that the Braves narrowly won this trade, so it's a good one. This was the big trade that got the morning kicked off. Somebody I kind of wanted to see the Pirates get, but I knew we probably wouldn't get him. Luis Arraez is headed from San Francisco, the Bay Area, to the city of brotherly love, right here across the Commonwealth in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Him and right-hander Caleb Keelan are headed to Philly in exchange for right-hander Ramon Marquez and right-hander Marty Gare. Again, this is a win for both sides. Both sides got a huge win here. I'm giving them both A's. This is one of the best deadline deals. Marquez was one of the Phillies' top prospects that's heading over. Arraez is he has one of the best batting averages in baseball. Keelan is a good bullpen arm as well. So this is what you want. Jose Soriano's going to Toronto in exchange for shortstop Arjun Namala, outfielder Eddie Micheletti, and right-hander Angel Rivero. I'm going to give Toronto a D for this. I think that while Soriano's a good pitcher, I'm not putting all my eggs in the Soriano basket. He'll probably fit in okay there, and it's weird that Toronto both bought and sold at this deadline, but I'm giving Toronto a D here because it's just weird for Toronto. It doesn't make much sense. Angels, I'm going to give them an A. I think John Mozeliak, formerly with the Cardinals, now with the Angels, he had a phenomenal trade deadline. Great job to him. So I'm giving them an A. White Sox get Huascar Brazoban from the New York Mets in exchange for Zach Franklin and Gabe Davies. I'd give the White Sox a B here. ESPN has them at a B. I'm giving them a B as well because I think they got some good pieces. 36 years old. He now has 2 saves at the major league level. And he fits the opening that said Sir Anthony to Dominguez to the Mariners. So great job. I'm actually going to give it a B plus because it's a great job by Chicago. Great job by Chris Getz. Mets, I'll also give them a B plus. I think this trade is very even, so I'm giving the Mets a B plus as well. They're offloading a lot, so yeah. Tyler Mahle's off to the Atlanta Braves. Giants get Anthony Molina. I think this trade could be okay for the Braves. I like how they're trying to work on their bullpen. I'm going to give it a B for Atlanta. I am. And Molina, this was the one bad thing for the Giants. I'm giving it a D. I think they could have maybe done a little better, but I'm giving it a D. Cubs we're on to last night now. There are some big ones, though, we still haven't discussed, including the big blockbuster of the deadline. Cubs acquire Kevin Gausman from Toronto in exchange for Brett Bateman, an outfielder, and Ty Southsane, an infielder. I'm giving the Cubs an A. I really like this trade for Chicago. This is great. Toronto, I will give it a B minus. I think I'm going to give it as of now. ESPN has it as C plus. I think a B minus is reasonable. So yeah. This is a big one. The Yankees acquire first baseman, second baseman, Luis Garcia Jr. from the Nats, who's had a good year hitting, in exchange for a lot of right-handed pitchers. All these guys are right-handed pitchers. Giovanni Cruz, Jake Bird, Ben Grable, and Jack Siebert. It's a good haul. I'm going to give the Yankees a B because I think they overpaid to get him. Plus, they have a lot of good pieces to their lineup. I'm going to give them a B because I think that they probably overpaid and they didn't really need Garcia as much as they thought. So I'm giving them a B. Nationals get a C minus. They get more pitching help. I'll just give it I think it's a decent trade, so I'm going to give it a C plus. Freddie Peralta is leaving the big city, or the Big Apple, and is going to the Sunshine State to join the Tampa Bay Rays in exchange for second baseman Emilian Petre, right-handed pitcher Gary Hill, and outfielder Aiden Smith. I think Peralta, he's done great with small market teams as I get tired. I think he has never run in him. I'm going to give this an A for Tampa. This is a great trade for them. Mets, I think I'm going to give a C. I want to see what ESPN gives it. ESPN has it as C plus. I'm giving it a C. This is the blockbuster that shook everything up. The Los Angeles Dodgers acquire left-handed pitcher Tariq Skubal from the Detroit Tigers in exchange for Zahir Hope, an outfielder, River Ryan, a right-handed pitcher, and Brady Smith, a right-handed pitcher as well. This one is pretty easy. I'm going to give the Dodgers an A+ here. They got the best pitcher in baseball for very little, in my opinion. Very, very little for the Dodgers. They didn't give a lot up to get him. And that is huge. Because now they have the best hitter, the best pitcher in baseball. It's insane what they have. It's ridiculous. How they got him, God only knows. It is ridiculous that he is a Dodger. They're going to win a third straight pennant. And it's ridiculous. Good for Skubal, though. He'll probably win a World Series now, which is great for him. As for the Tigers, I'd give it a B+. It's not an A-, but I do like Zahir Hope and River Ryan as well. Those are two great pieces to have and definitely pieces to build around. So I think that could be good. I would have probably asked for a lot freaking more. I mean, Zahir Hope he probably wasn't going to get much time there. River Ryan, they have a lot of good pitchers. They weren't probably going to use these guys a whole lot. So it's wise to deal them for somebody that could get you over the top. It's going to be an interesting CPA. White Sox get Luis Castillo from the Mariners in exchange for Sir Anthony Dominguez, Nolan Jones, and Boston Smith. I'm going to give the White Sox a B for this. I think Will Venable's a great manager. He'll use Castillo well. Chris Getz is a good GM. They've done great together. So I'm going to give it a B+. I'm actually going to change this to B+. Good job there by Chicago. That was a good trade. ESPN has it as C+. I disagree. I'm going to give it a B+. For the Seattle Mariners, I really like this return. I'm going to give it an A. I really like getting a guy in Nolan Jones as well. Sir Anthony Dominguez is very good. That's a good trade for both sides. The Braves acquired outfielder Lane Thomas and former Pirate, our old friend Bailey Falter, from the Royals in exchange for Lucas Braun and Carter Holton. I'm going to give the Braves an F for this. This trade makes no sense for them. None. So it's getting an F. Don't like this at all. The Royals, I'd give a B. Pirates, we acquired Camilo Doval from the Yankees in exchange for catcher Omar Alfonso and outfielder Luis Cruz. I'm going to be honest, I think the Yankees won this trade barely. For us, I would give us a B and the Yankees a B+. I did not like losing Alfonso because he could provide some catching help next year. And that's going to be good for the Yankees as well. So I'm giving them a B+. I think they narrowly got us here. This was a weird 2-for-2 swap. Brewers get catcher Bo Neller and right-handed pitcher Cody Euler from the Cleveland Guardians in exchange for right-hander Craig Yoho and outfielder Blake Perkins. I'm giving both sides a B here because I think that this trade is a little weird. It's a little bizarre. It doesn't make much sense for anybody. I'm giving it a B for both sides. ESPN thinks Cleveland barely won it. I don't. I think these guys could both be decent, so I'm giving it a B, like I said. Let me get another piece of paper because we need one. The Twins acquired right-handed pitcher Dean Kremer from the Orioles in exchange for outfielder Yon Mardo Reyes. Yeah, I have never heard that name, so I'm going to give I don't think he's that great. So, ESPN has it as a C-. I'm giving it a D. I don't like this trade for the Twins. I really don't. They acquired a ton of prospect capital last year for a reason. Keep it in development. So, I'm giving it a D. I don't know if he was acquired last year, but what I'm saying is they're probably buying a little too much. And the Orioles, ESPN has them at a B+. I'll give them a B. How's that sound? A.J. Minter got traded from the New York Mets to Derek Selton's Twins as well in exchange for Brune Agbagne and Billy Amick, 2 infielders. I'm going to give the Twins an A for this. I really like the fact that they were bold, went out and got a reliever early, so I'm giving them an A for this. They really did a good job with their bullpen. For the Mets, I will give them, I think I'm going to give them a B. ESPN has them at a C+. None of them are top prospects. Well, they're going to be top prospects with the Mets. I'll give it a B-. Why not? I'll give it a B-. And Agbani's brother was on the Mets in the 2000 World Series. And one last trade to discuss here. Curtis Mead got traded from the Nats to the Red Sox in exchange for left-handed pitcher Connolly Early. The Red Sox have a lot of middle infielders, and ESPN's giving it a C. I'm going to give it a D for Boston because it's a weird move, and I don't like it a lot on their end. So I'm giving it a D. And for the Nationals, Connolly Early, I'll give it an A+ because I really like this a lot, and I think Early could be pretty good for them. So that's an A+, in my opinion, for Washington. Let's discuss the other 2 Pirates trades made now. Because obviously there were 2 others. There was one minor one as well. Hunter Stratton got traded to the San Diego Padres in exchange for, I'll get his name in a minute. Let's look at this. Andrew Moore. It's a weird trade. I'd give both teams a C. It's weird. It's average. Gets a C. C is average. All right, the Lake Blocker trade. I would give the Pirates a B for this. And I'd give the Marlins a B+ because I think that the Marlins won this trade simply because we gave up a little too much. I mean, if we could have just done Brian Sanchez and Han Seung Lee in this, I would have been fine. I would have taken it in a heartbeat. However, including Boudoir was disappointing for me, so he has potential in my opinion. So that's upsetting. So I'm going to give it a B+. I think Miami just won it, barely. We also acquired Kirby Yates in exchange for Kyle Robinson. I'd give this an A-, actually. I think that we paid a good price to get a solid relief arm. So I'm giving it an A-. Angels, I'm going to give it a D because they didn't acquire a good top they could have maybe asked for a little more, and they didn't. So I'm going to give it a D. And obviously we did Luke Weaver. It was good to be able to buy this deadline. It was good to be able to buy, which was great for sure. Now we're going to look at some of the winners and some of the losers of this trade deadline after I've put together all the grades. A big winner that I've noticed throughout this process are the Los Angeles Angels. They had a very good deadline. They did great in a lot of their trades they were in. That's good for sure. I'd give the Cardinals a winning grade as well. They got some top prospects in, which is helpful for them as well. I'd put us in the winners category. Milwaukee, I think they had a good day. Cleveland, the Cubs, the Twins, they had a good deadline. Giants had a very good deadline. I wouldn't call the Mets exactly a winner, but I think they did solid. Orioles, they did good. Still getting tired. I think the Phillies did okay. Just looking at this. Dodgers. So yeah, those are my main winners. For my losers now, I would say the Royals were a big loser, not trading away a lot of their players. The Reds were a big loser, not trading away any of their players, really, except for Lowe. It's disappointing for them, but that's good for us. Tigers, they could have probably got a little more for Skubal and some of these guys. Really jump-started their team. They didn't, so they're a loser. I think the Red Sox are a loser. Like, they gave up a lot because they think they could go all in. Like, you don't know how long this run's going to last. That's the thing. So I think they're a loser. That's a bold take, but I think they are. I think the Rockies could have probably traded a little more, done a little better for Senazella. Marlins, I think they're giving up too early, so I'd consider them a loser. Nationals, I think they traded away a good player in Luis Garcia. I like the Griffin trade somewhat, but it's not a good trade. There's your losers. So I have 7 losers and 10 winners. Let's rank the top 10 winners first in order of did the best to did the worst out of these 10. Or did the worst to did the best out of these 10. Number 10, I would put the Twins. They had a good deadline, but is it good enough to get them in the playoffs? Probably not. Number 9, I would put us. I don't think we had a great deadline, but we had a solid deadline. So I'm putting us at 9. Number 8, I would put the Brewers. I think they had a barely better deadline than us because they got a guy in May, and they got Senazella as well. That's huge. Number 7, I would put Cleveland. I think they got a good mix and guys at this deadline, so I would put them there. Number 6, I would put Baltimore. I know they got a lot of prospects, but they also traded away Rutzman and Ward, so I would put them 6. Number 5, I would put the Cardinals at number 5. Number 4, I like what the Angels did a lot, but I don't think it was as good as the Giants did in terms of prospects. So I put them 4. Number 3, I would say are the Giants. I thought they had a very good deadline in terms of getting young prospects, so they did good. I like Buster Posey a lot, and John Mozeliak. They did great. Number 2 is the Cubs. They had a really good deadline, so they're ready to compete. They're ready to win now, so that's good for them. And obviously, number 1 is the Dodgers. Getting a guy like Tariq Skubal, I mean, you don't pass up on a guy like that. So Skubal is your number 1 player at the deadline. Dodgers are your number 1 team, so yeah. Out of the 7 losers I have, going from 24 down to 30, we will start at the best, 24, and work our way down to 30. Number 24, I have the Boston Red Sox. They got pieces that could help them win, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and I don't think these trades are going to work out well for them, so I have them at 24. At 25, I have the Washington Nationals. Yes, they acquired some good players and all that, yes, they had some good players and dealt them. It was just weird for them. So they're 25. Number 26, I think the Royals should be ranked number 26. Because I think they could have done more, but it's not like they did nothing. So there's that. 27th, I have the Colorado Rockies sitting at 27. They traded away Senazella, but I think they could have done better there, and they didn't trade away enough of their players, I think, in my opinion, so they're 27. And number 28, the Marlins. I mean, it seems like they're punting on the season a little too early, so I'd put them at 28. I think the Hicks trade was bad. I think they did good with what they got for, like, Bacher, so that's why they're 28. Number 29, the Detroit Tigers. They traded away Skubal for not as much as they could have got for Skubal, I think. Or they could have got more for Skubal. And they didn't deal to Gleyber Torres. They barely dealt Casey Mize or anything. It was just a really bad trade deadline, if you want my honest to God opinion, for the Tigers. They could have done a lot more than they did. And number 30 is the Reds. You have a ton of guys on expiring contracts. You're not going anywhere. You could have got something. So you're the worst. So the Dodgers were the big winner of the deadline. The Reds were the big losers, in my opinion. So, yeah, it was definitely a wild deadline for sure. A lot of trades today, as you can see. Not all this was today, but 2 pages worth of papers. Quite a bit. But this is the most important one, obviously. The big winners were the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Giants. Those were my favorite trade deadlines. My least favorite, as you know, are Miami, Detroit, and Cincinnati. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. We were supposed to go 25-30. We actually went up around 46, but oh well, that's no big deal. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you Sunday for the weekly show then. But in the meantime, have a good one. Take care, stay safe, and as always, peace, God bless. See you in the next one. Bye.